I'm waiting for it to come. Hello and welcome to the Quantum Bridge. Since we're not going to edit this, probably made a mistake at the beginning, but hey, you know, it's all a show anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those days, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, really. It's already one of those mornings here in the UK.
Yes.
Anyway, Gary, nice to see you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Yeah, you know, it's we've had quite a break, really. I know, like we said on some of the other videos that have gone out, you know, a lot of those were recorded quite a while back, which meant over the summer we could still keep content going up, but really we need to start getting back into it. So,
yeah. Yeah, quickly, I just want to jump in. I know this is an update. It's really, I suppose, our August update, and hopefully we'll slightly set the tone for the rest of the year now, in the run up to Christmas. I'm sure a huge amount of interesting and important things will be taking place. Whether we all have the energy to engage with those any longer remains to be seen. But I just wanted to quickly get in a bit of thanks. So thanks, obviously, to our subscribers and our new subscribers, which is nice too. We might even get to 1,000 at some point this year. That would be good.
Getting close
to that present. Also, I just wanted to again quickly to say thank you also to our contributors. So obviously this would be nothing without those people who are willing to come on and to sort of bare their souls to some degree in many cases. So just want to say thank you to all of those people and everybody in the background, obviously in terms of all of our families and friends, anybody who is and has and will support what we're up to. So I just thought it's worth saying that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess we're sort of recapping on all the X stuff that's happened. I mean, given the title of this video, you might be disappointed that Casper is wearing a t-shirt. I'm sorry about that, but
I doubt anybody will have that disappointment, but it's very nice of you to say so.
Yeah. Don't often do clickbait, mate.
No, that's right. This is the closest thing probably that we come to that. And of course, actually, it's everybody else's dirty minds, nothing to do with us.
No.
Because it's all about X being the prefix for many of the quote unquote perhaps asset-backed digital currencies or cryptos that probably are more interesting to us than some others. And of course, back to you, Gary, mate, about why X is so important generally.
Yeah, well, we did a video a while back on the XRP case, the SEC case, and in that we sort of described how we felt that was a marker that would move other things forward. We're not really into that sort of intel and price prediction and that stuff. We just look at, you know, what we feel and these markers that come along. And I think at that time we said that was a good thing for the financial system, which is probably the next big thing, really, I would say. Yeah, so since that, we then had Elon Musk, he rebranded Twitter to X. Like Casper said, there's a lot of connections here. Dot joining, I suppose, because you've got XRP, XDC, XLM in sort of digital asset thing. You've got SpaceX. It's, you know, not quite sure what all this means yet. I don't know if you've got any other ideas on that, Casper, or not, but the significance of the X itself. Because, I mean, in terms of branding and marketing, I don't think it's a great name to call, like, so there may be something a bit more to that. I know Musk wants to make it an everything app that does, you know, payments. So let's see what's happening there again with these digital assets, an everything app. But in terms of calling something X, it seems a little bit awkward compared to, say, posting, you know, sending a tweet and things on Twitter. Everyone knew what you meant. Now it's like, it's difficult. It doesn't sound that great saying posting an X. It's a little.
I suppose there's an argument that it can stand for many other things. One of them being 10 in Roman numerals, and the idea that in numerology obviously 10 itself is a number of completion.
Yes.
So if you're thinking of something that will hold or support everything, the idea of that coming under a number 10, I'm not saying this is the reason, by the way, just suddenly come to my
I think it could be part of that as well, though. Yes, something in it in that sense. But we're just speculating. But of course, since then, again, that was another marker, and then you've now had the whole thing with Trump, which today is the 25th, and as I was going to bed last night, I saw he was handing himself into the police station. I've seen this morning that they've released his mugshot. So a pretty big thing moving forward, really. And of course, the BRICS, they had their meeting, again, around the financial stuff. So that's what we're saying, that you can see these things gradually start to roll out bit by bit. Now, whether the whole political thing is, well, I don't want to say distraction, but theatre, let's put it that way. So it's all a bit of a movie for us, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think we all struggle with the whole popcorn notion, particularly since that's gone on for a long time. The idea that everybody who is quote unquote awake and aware sits back and watches the movie unfold. Now, you know, there's so many levels of that. There's the fact that the whole thing of life, you know, in a way, you are watching something on the screen that you can be as invested in as you want to be, or as you're drawn into, or you can be as much of a voyeur of your own life and existence as maybe you want to be, or at that point of your development are able to be. And it's sort of quite interesting, isn't it, that these are, you know, people talk about rabbit holes, and of course that's one way to describe everything, going into things in detail and getting lost in the tunnels and the labyrinth of what's available. But actually this thing of being sort of still hopefully bathing in the love of the universe and everything, but at the same time not being caught up in the drama of the day-to-day stuff. I mean, it's maybe not always the easiest position to take, but it's certainly a more comfortable one than feeling the pain and emotion of all of these things. And the only reason really I'm banging on about any of this is just because I think most of us who've been on a journey of sorts for the last 3 years, if we come back to that sort of focus on this, do feel drained, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a difficult one because I think ultimately, like I say, it's all a bit of a game, and the only way that I feel really is to detach from the game. But a lot of people then think, well, you know, I need to do so, I need to fight all the time. But it's kind of, while you're in that mode, you're still supporting that system because you're recognizing an enemy. I have to do this, and it's like, when you realize that you don't have to, there's more. It's actually more powerful that you don't recognize any of that, and then it drifts away. But of course, it's a difficult concept for people because they're in that mindset of judgment and vengeance and anger. But there's
also something to be said for that duality, because that is this experience. It is a polarity experience. So therefore, you know, there's an argument that why not be invested in that? That's what you're here to be and experience, right? On one level. But also it appears that coming out of that in the sort of consciousness field, or whatever anybody wants to term that, the greater expansiveness, there is this sense that we can engage in that and live that life. But also we can be more of we can step back from that and be more in our own power, I suppose, again, to coin another phrase. Now, I don't want us to get too drawn into any of these things, simply because I think we wanted this to be short, and we want to now sort of pave the way and talk about what the next things coming through might be in the run up to Christmas. Of course, we might do some other updates too, but I'm conscious that we're likely to have some of our guests back on, particularly around things like the area of food, because it's so important, this thing of empowering yourself around not just what you're actually eating, but how you're actually getting the food and who you support with your money, which is your energy, around that. And I think we will have a number of people back in on the show, but also we hopefully will have some new people. So is there anybody that you're thinking of that's coming up that we might mention, or anybody that we want to have back? Of course, I think Karina hopefully will come back on as well and talk about something far away from the sort of Middle Eastern area that we've touched on with her before. Who else is on your mind at the moment?
I think Leslie is planning to do something for us, which will be around that sort of aromatherapy type thing, essential oils, okay. Which ones work for which things, so that sort of stuff. There's a few other people I've asked that I'm waiting to hear back from. Like I say, new people. So I usually go around stalking on X, as you say.
And of course, we've got Jane in terms of the quantum healing side as well. Hopefully she will be talking to us about maybe a slightly different and more expansive area, less related to just what she does, the work, so to speak, that she does, and more about sort of the mapping out of things like layers of consciousness and so on, which obviously we're just interested in that whole area. I'd like also to get David Livingstone back on as well. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
And there are a number of other people that we will, as we said, bring back on. But yeah, we do want to keep on mixing this up and always bringing new people, new feeling and thoughts to the table. Because I think it's very easy that this gets stale and you keep on rehashing. And it's not about the people not having a lot of new things to say. Our contributors, I'm sure they all do all the time. I mean, I'd like to get Benjamin on, who spoke about quantum before, and I know that he's had a very, very interesting life. So there's a lot of things that could be brought up there. But I think the key thing is always to be going back and getting our existing contributors to bring more of themselves to the table. I think Chandra is going to come back and talk about Reiki, for example, as well. Yeah. I think that will be interesting. Yeah. But I think we always need to be doing a bit of both, because we're not really on the circuit ourselves. And of course, at the same time, a lot of the people that we've had on the Quantum Bridge aren't part of that either. Having said that, we are expecting to do another conversation or interview type scenario with who else are we going to have
Dr.
on?
Dr. Keir, wasn't it?
It will be, yeah, definitely with Dr. Keir, but it might be even beyond just having Dr. Keir. And it'd be just great to do anything with Keir again, because she has been such a support and got the eyes on us to enable us to actually get some subscribers and get some profiles. So yeah, I want to just say thank you to Keir for everything again. But yeah, I think that may actually involve more than just Keir in that call or interview or conversation. So that's one to look out for too.
Yeah, and I think we don't usually like to talk much about negative stuff, but I think just moving forward in terms of what's happening, there's a lot of talk about certain restrictions and things coming back. But again, remember, this whole process is helping people, if you like, to choose their lane. And in many cases, a lot of people like us or people watching the show, you've already done that. You've taken a position. It's just sort of being stronger with that. You've already said no, and you just carry on doing the same, of not complying with it. It's you don't need to get too wrapped up in that sort of worry and panic about it. Just keep cool. Remember, a lot of the stuff and the events are to sort of wake up people that really haven't decided yet. There's this sort of fence sitting, and they might need a little push to make up their minds which way they want to go.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and hopefully there will be many, many more people who do decide to or move into their own power, whether that be just a general sense and an energetic thing generally. That means that happens, or that's individuals sort of awakening to something within themselves and feeling more empowered. Hopefully they can also turn to people like us, our audience, our guests and so on, and feel comforted in the idea that there's nothing wrong with seeking and wanting to maintain freedom and to feel authentic as well to yourself more than anything else.
That's really where we're at I would imagine our new role is now is that sort of beacon of light, and they've seen the people that didn't go along with things last time, and now you can provide a foundation for them to sort of come to. So.
Yeah, they're not alone. Yeah,
Yes,
you're not alone. If you want to stand in your own power, if you want to do what your heart is telling you to do, there's many of us will be doing that.
Yeah.
Either again or as a new thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
All right. Good.
Everything?
Yeah, I think just to say thank you to everybody again. Obviously,
Yeah.
thank you to anybody who
Fantastic.
deigns to watch any of our stuff. And we hope that we bring you some material that's uplifting, really, for the rest of the year, as it may be in most places gets colder, maybe darker, and so on. I hope that thing of a beacon of light was a nice thing to end on, mate.
Great.
All right. So from the Quantum Bridge, over and out.
Take care, everyone.